righty.
Welcome, welcome, welcome once again to Words Have Power with Teresa Hawley-Howard. We are finishing up our September summit. We have another amazing guest tonight. Amanda, welcome to the show and tell us about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. I'm so excited to be able to share my story and my journey and just reach out to so many people that may just feel lost in their health journey or their life journey where they maybe weight or maybe, in the mindset. So I do, I'm going to go back a little ways. I became a massage therapist right out of high school. And what I realized was in therapy, it's between the mind, the body, the soul, but it's spiritually, it's physically, it's mentally, it's emotionally. There's so many aspects of it. So when they would talk, I would talk. And when I'd start digging in deeper into their healing, and as I'm doing massages, their muscles are releasing. And I decided that I wanted to get a little bit more into coaching. So I got into health and wellness coaching. I also have competed myself. I'm really somebody that truly wants to walk the talk. I want somebody to look at me and not go, oh, well, you're just going to read from a textbook, or you're going to throw a diet in my face, or you're going to give me a meal plan that's just a cookie cutter thing. And really, I love to work with individuals to really see what's going on in their lives and really be able to give them a program that is fit for their lifestyle. Because that's really, truly what healthy living is about. It's about a lifestyle change. So many people try to do, cutting out carbs, or maybe they're going to do a keto, or there's all these different fads, and really, it really depends on your body and what really feels good for you. For me, I had to cut out breads. I had to, my body loves carbs, but I had to cut out my homemade buns and breads. I'm not a taste tester with them because they don't sit well with me. And so as a health and wellness coach, a mindset mentor, and a motivational speaker, I really love to dig in deep with people and get real and raw with their situations. And sometimes it's not about what's going on in your current life right now. There's been times that I've worked with clients that, just last week, there was a lady she said the word diet really triggered her. And after we talked, about 3 hours later, I messaged her and I'm like, I just had a light bulb moment. And I said to her, you are holding the weight because of the trauma and drama you went through in your childhood. It's the only control you have protecting you. And, it was such a huge shift in her life. So it's not just what you put in your mouth. It's not just about getting the gym membership. It's not about busting your patootie. I'll be honest, I was one of those girls that I just don't like going to the gym. It's just not my vibe. I played sports my whole life. So I just want people to really know that it's just about making a conscious decision of what you want to do and going from there. And you don't have to, eat the whole spread. It's about biting off small parts and making changes in your life. So I'm there to help. I'm really here to help people get real and raw with their situation, listen with a different set of ears, and be able to really dig into what the problem is and what is being held.
I think that's so true. Sometimes when we think about our health as a whole, we kind of get skittish. We get scared to step into that because we think it has to be the big change. We got to change everything. We got to throw out the baby with the bathwater and start all over. And that's just not true. Sometimes there can be some small key changes that you can make that really will make a huge difference, that really will, be a shift in your life and in your mindset. Yep. Can you tell our listeners some of those key, small changes that they can make that would make big differences?
Oh, absolutely. I was fortunate that I was never somebody that was overweight and struggled. I was athletic my whole life, but I really wanted to just take it to a different level. I always wanted to compete and not to have the fame or everything on stage. I just wanted to do something to accomplish for myself, to say I did it. And to be honest, never wanted to be in a bikini on a beach, let alone on a stage in front of people. But one of the coolest things that I learned right off the get-go, my first trainer said, you know what, pick one thing that you're going to just master. You can't, don't, all the water that you really want to drink. If you want to focus on water, focus on water. If you want to focus on food, focus on food. If you want to focus on the fitness side and lifting weights and getting in your cardio, focus on that. But don't try to bite off more than you can chew, and take the baby steps to get through it. So, my first competition, I mastered to a T my meal plan. I didn't like going to the gym. I went a little bit here and there, but I mastered to a T my meal plan, and I enjoyed it. That was one huge thing. Enjoy what you're eating. If you are having the negative effect that you're miserable because you have to eat salad and you have to do this, you're likely not going to have the success that you want. You want to really enjoy what you're eating. And so I found things and I got creative. I was just telling somebody today, I had to have eggs and rice cakes on my last week before I went on stage. And there was these flavored rice cakes, which I don't even know if I was supposed to have flavored ones, but they were nacho flavored, but they were rice cakes and they had the same everything in it. And I ate that with salsa and eggs and I loved it. My girlfriend still, the one that I live with, she still eats that for breakfast. So it's really about the small steps and about mastering and enjoying it. If you're not going to enjoy it, it's no different than putting a kid in a sport. If they're not going to enjoy it, they're just going to go pick dandelions or whatever they're going to do. They're not going to be actually in the sport, and you're just going to waste your money, your time, and effort.
I think that's so true, and it won't be long term. And that's the key. It has to be a lifestyle choice, not just a fad diet or okay, for this month I'm going to give up this, or I'm going to, not have carbs for 6 months and get down to my weight. Well, you're not going to be able to maintain it if you don't make it a lifestyle choice. And if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick to it. And so I think that's a key thing, that you really have to make sure you're enjoying it.
You have to enjoy it, and you have to be doing it for you and for the right reasons. Like I said, when I was backstage, people are like, how are you so happy? And I look at them, I'm like, what are you here for? If you're not going to enjoy it and be happy about it, I would go to Thanksgiving dinners and I was fine. Like, I wasn't miserable. I would cook for people, and I'd have my own meals. And to this day, I can still do that. But I've never been miserable about it. And even fellow competitors in that stage, they were like, why are you still eating all the good stuff and I'm not? And they had to get stuff taken away to drop their weight and whatnot. And that's the thing, is people became miserable. And I just have to say to people, what are you doing this for? Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it to fit in? Are you doing it because, you have to prove somebody wrong, or you have to prove somebody right? Are you doing it because a friend's doing it? You really got to get in and look at the big picture of it and really be able to be happy in your own skin. And that the competition isn't to somebody else. It's within yourself, and be there for the right reasons for any shifts and changes to happen.
I think that's so true. And sometimes I think we forget the emotional part of it. We forget, like when you said that your client had that emotional attachment to food. I know that was a lot of my issue. I'd had some trauma in my childhood, and so I ate because it's what I could control. And not only that, my trauma, I was attacked as a young girl, and so I didn't want anybody looking at me. So, if you're the heavier girl in the room, you get less attention. And so I wanted to be that person, and so I ate. And I ate when I was emotional. I ate when I was upset. I would hear my friends say, oh, I was so upset I couldn't eat. And I was like, oh, I have never been there. Because that was not my problem. Right. My friends got divorced. They were just like, oh, I was on the divorce diet. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I might not couldn't sleep, but there'd be something on Hallmark I could watch all night while I snacked, waiting for the next day to begin. But and it took me a while to make.
And that's the biggest thing, is the consciousness. Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing, is the consciousness about what you're putting in your mouth. Some people don't even realize it. And, when I started reading labels, I was like, whoa. When I was looking at what I was to have for an intake for sugars in a day, and then I was like, oh, one chocolate bar is already over that for my whole day. Until people become aware and conscious about what's in our foods and what's going on. And now for me, I really have kicked white sugars, and it's really made my body feel good. Not that I was a huge sugar person, but after I went through surgeries and had some setbacks in my health journey, I gained weight and I gained inflammation, and I really struggled. And for the last couple years, it was 2 years ago, I ended up having a hysterectomy. And you know I thought, why? What is going on in my body? So I just started making changes. And now if I have coffee in the morning, I have it with maple syrup instead of white sugar. And I notice it in my body, in my inflammation, in my, like, the swelling in my hands, how my body feels, how I don't spike and drop. And it was just a really small change. I'm not saying that that's the cure for everybody, or it's going to change everybody or whatnot, but it's really understanding what your intake is, what you really, some people just, like you said, emotionally eat and eat because it's there. You don't have to. Just because you have a huge plate, that doesn't mean. You just got to check in with your body. And for me now, after having surgeries, I really prefer fasting, and I also small increments of eating. And it made so much sense why I felt so great when I was competing, is because I had 5 small meals or 3 small meals a day with 2 snacks in the middle. I felt my absolute best because my digestive system was working properly then. And so it made sense to me. And if force feed yourself or just eat all the time or whatever you're eating, you really got to listen to your body. If you're not feeling good, if you're tired, if you're just, really tired, exhausted, lazy, just in a bad mood, really checking in what you're putting in your body to see and what's going on around you.
I think that's so true. I know my tribe knows that I had breast cancer, and afterwards I was very picky about what I put in. I went more of a whole foods, all natural food. I cook it myself. Yep. I know what it is, because when I started reading the ingredients of some of the items that we were buying, I can't pronounce them, so they can't be good for me. And they all had chemical names. And I was like, why does it have 15 different ingredients in this pasta? Why? Why is that? This one pasta pouch has 15 different ingredients, and 6 of them sound like a chemical. And so for me, that was a choice.
And you know what? The cool thing is, and that's exactly it. And every now and then you need to have a reset. It's no different than when your computer starts going all wonky and you got to power her down and start it back up again. Your body needs to have a reset. You need to have a cleanse. And there's been 3 different separate times that I've had cleanses over the last few years. And I actually would love to gift your listeners, if they're interested. And I have a 16-day metabolism reset. It's not for everybody. I'm not going to say it's going to work for everybody. Some people don't stay on it. Some people aren't true to themselves. But if they're ready, they can get in contact with you or me, and we can send that out to them. And also I did this past year, I did a kidney and liver cleanse. And I got to tell you, it was 6 days. It was whole rooted vegetables, really good. I didn't feel like I was starving. I didn't feel like, I wasn't miserable about it or anything. And then the last few days I had to do like the actual cleanse. But I tell my clients, try this 6-day program. If 16 days is too much for you, maybe try this 6 days and just start getting your habit change and understanding what's good for your body and just being able to get in there. So I have a 16-day and a 6-day that I would love to share with your listeners or yourself and people that are thinking, maybe I can handle that. I know Thanksgiving's coming up. I know Christmas is coming up, and people are making excuses all the time. But the thing of it is how much longer are you willing to sacrifice your body, your life, your happiness? Because as we said, it's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and it even really financially, because people think eating clean or eating healthier is more expensive when it's truly not. It's the garbage that you put in your body, the chips and the pop and the this and how much you're putting in. Your body needs more and more and more because it's addicted. When you have whole foods and you have, wholesome foods and clean foods, you really don't need to buy as much. And it in my experience, that's happened. And so it's not for everybody. I know that. I never force it on anybody. I'm always wanting people to be, when they're ready and they're willing. And I always say, if you get real and raw with life, life will get real and raw with you.
That's so true. And when we talk about the expensive, when you look at the other side of it, when you're putting all that garbage into your body, you're doing damage to it. So you're probably having more medical bills, more doctor's bills, more prescriptions, things like that. And so if you would just go the healthy route from the get-go, you may be able to forego a lot of that other part of it, like diabetes, obesity, things like that. Those are expensive medical issues. And so when you're looking at your bottom line and longevity of life, because trust me, if you have those diseases and you don't take care of your body, it's going to play out on you. You're only given one. It's not like you can trade
And that's
your car.
That's what you were saying, we were talking about too, is that, it's not just a snap of a fingers and it's going to happen. And not to be discouraged. You have to be so committed to your goal, to have that vision. And that's what I do with the first session with my clients is, tell me what you want. Because sometimes it sucks because I want it worse than they do, but it's really their goal. Because I believe in them so much that they'll get there. I always say, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You can see my journey, my pictures on my website. You can see what I've been through, the health issues that I have. I stepped off stage. A month later, was diagnosed, had a hysterectomy 3 months later, in my prime, going when I'm at my healthiest. And setbacks have happened. We all have life setbacks, whether it's a family member, whether it's mourning something, whether it's a house burning down, whatever it may be. Life happens, but it's your mindset and how you're going to overcome it. And that's what I love to work with. The mindset is to keep pushing people, keep digging in people, because I've worked with addicts and some families have said, how did you get them to do that? I said, because I cared about them. I didn't blame them. It's the most non-judgmental place. And when you put people in a confidential, non-judgmental place, they'll pour out. And I'm not going to blame you for it. I'm going to say, okay, now where are we going? Because you want to get there. You told me this is your goal. We're going to get there. But you have to be so committed to your goal and believe in that you deserve that. And some people, they've been told their whole life that they're not going to amount to anything, or this teacher was this, or, society is so crazy. So it's a matter of really being able to justify and juggle around, between the physical and the health and the eating, but the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the financial, the belief, and really recreating and being able to power through.
I think that's so true. Will you tell our listeners how they can reach out to you, how they can follow you on Facebook, where they can get in touch with you if they're ready to make that leap and get raw and real in their life?
Oh yeah, I'm so open. I got Instagram, Ask Amanda Dainelle. I got Facebook, Ask Amanda Dainelle, and my website is www.askamandadainelle.com. You can reach out to there, and askamandadainelle@gmail.com is my email if you want to just send it direct through my website. But have a browse around my website. Some people are going to peek around and never reach out, but don't ever feel ashamed to reach out. Jump in a Facebook group, connect with me, and I always love, you might just intuitionally come to me and I'll send you a motivational video. I love working through motivational videos because the messages are so powerful. And that's the thing is, if you're hearing us and you're here with us now, or in 5 months or 5 years, you're listening to this or stumble across this, don't ever hesitate to, because that's your time. That's your sign, and you're coming across at the right time, and we are here for you.
Thank you so much for being on the show and for sharing with us, and really for giving our listeners that insight to sometimes you can make small steps and make big changes, but you just have to be real with yourself. You got to be honest. What works for you is not going to work for everybody else. I personally don't like the gym either, so I walk 5 days a week. You know, it's a good deal for me. It clears my head. It gets me out of my office. It gets some good music going in my ears. Sometimes I walk longer than I'm supposed to because the music's good. I have a heart radio. So, you know, just depends. But
Yeah,
it was a start.
absolutely. And I know I now live an hour from a center. Like I live literally out in the middle of nowhere now. And over the last year, I haven't for sure counted my inches, but just by my pant sizes, I've gone down 4 inches back into my clothes, that pre-surgery clothes from unforeseen circumstances. But I've been in the middle of nowhere. So there's always flexibility things. There's always stretches. There's always going for walks. There's always things that I can set people up to do without having anything, just body weight and stretching and getting your body moving and active and going. And it doesn't cost you a dime. So I just know that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And if you're ready for that journey to take that step, never feel ashamed to reach out. I've been there, the one that felt embarrassed and didn't want to ask the stupid questions or know anything. And no question is a stupid question. I'd love to work with you, and I'd love to hear where you're at in your journey and where you're really wanting to go.
Yes, and y'all be sure and reach out. I know she can help you. You know, it's a powerful thing when you make that decision, but it's even more powerful when you make a connection that'll help you reach that goal. Thank you so much, Amanda, for being on the show. Thank y'all for listening. And once again, this has been Words Have Power with Teresa Hawley-Howard. This is our September Summit. You can watch it on the YouTube, and we'll be on the iTunes. So, and Amanda will also be in the magazine, so we'll have all of her connecting information there, and where you can get that freebie from her so that you can get started. Whether that 6-day or that 16-day works for you, it doesn't matter. Just get started. Y'all have a great night, and remember, words have power. Let's use them to change the world.